So, where did you grow up and what got you into this life?
Cool. So I'm Sean Lavia, 32 years old, and it sounds cheesy, but you could literally say that my entire life has led up to this van life, nomad life moment. Grew up in Kennesaw, Georgia. When I was 18, joined the army, got stationed in Germany. That was my first overlanding type experience. I was working in a mounted section. We had these giant 32-ton military vehicles, AMRAPs, MATVs, we would take out in the field for 30 days. And I loved that. Got deployed to Afghanistan, spent a year in Afghanistan, and I always tell people that van life is basically the best parts of deployment, just without the bombs and people shooting at you. So you get to go find where you want to live for the night, go set up your little camp, your little LPOP, talk to the locals, try to get some more intel. You go on the mission the next day, which is usually a hike, hike, motorcycle ride, whatever it might be. Get back to the camp, set up your talk, your combat outpost, get your comms up and running, talk to your friends back home, and then lay down for the night. So for me, it's perfect. When I was in the army, I did 4 years of that, 4 years in psyops, and I've pretty much been doing like two or three things my whole life since then. So when I was in the reserves, I was in psychological operations. I had a 130-mile round trip commute to my college, UGA, for my degree, and I was running a nightclub at the same time as consulting for military movies as a technical advisor, teaching extras and actors how to use weapons or proper tactics or techniques and stuff. So I was doing all this, finally got my degree, quit everything. I got into Goldman Sachs Veterans Integration Program and remembered that I had just been working about 100 hours a week for the last 4 years. And I was like, I'm not going to go from working 100 hours a week to a career working 100 hours a week. So that didn't work out for me. Or at least it wouldn't have worked out for my personality. So I started working in tech, fintech, which is what I was focusing in at Goldman. And I had an amazing job, was making great money. At that point, I had pretty much quit drinking, quit partying. And I was just, watching Netflix shows and, working out. And that was it. And I was like, man, am I just going to sit at home on my 500 Netflix shows away from death? Like, this is crazy. So as soon as the lease expired on the place I was staying at, traded in my Audi for the truck and literally hit the road within a week and haven't looked back since. I've every single day. I thought it might just be a couple week trend. I might be like, all right, I just need a vacation. But after 2 weeks, I was like, I like this. After a month, I was like, I really like this. And then after a few months, I was like, all right, how can I set up my entire life to make this my way of living? And as you can see, I've done that so far and I plan on continuing to do so. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've felt like I was still on deployment and I'm like, but in the fun ways, it's like you're up in some crazy mountain pass and you're checking your maps and your GPS is out. So you're actually using a compass. You're like, all right, how am I going to get out here? Or, vehicle recovery or whatever it might be. There's something that relates back to that experience or just the hardship, like might be going through something super difficult. And then it's like, actually, it's not that bad. At the end of the day, I get to come inside my camper, make a sandwich or, cook whatever I want. Life's easy.
The question is, how long do you see yourself living in this rig?
Yeah.
And if you have plans, what's next?
Yeah. All right. So for me personally, I could live in this the rest of my life. Like I said, it's a super mobile setup and I honestly love it. If I ever got more dogs or a girlfriend or whatever, then that situation might have to change. Personally, if I do change anything, I think I'm going to get, big base camp with a bunch of old army buddies somewhere in like Texas, Arizona, Washington, somewhere where the taxes are low. And, just have a big farm ranch slash garage up there somewhere to keep all the motorcycles and have vehicles to work on. And I would love to get a LMTV or a deuce and a half. If you're military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We drove them for years. But I think these setups are just super cool. They're super easy to work on yourself. You don't need to take it to some Mercedes-Benz mechanic. I'm sure some people can relate to that watching this video. So I could do all the work myself. And they're super mobile and they just look super cool. As you can tell by the setup I've got, I like having something a little bit different. And those LMTV setups are about as cool as it gets. So if I do switch things up, I think I'm going to do that. Something where I can, throw a little trailer on the back. Who knows, maybe just put like an Airstream on top of an LMTV. I haven't seen one of those yet. That might be pretty sick. And then something to carry the bikes and the pup, and we'll be ready to roll.
What would you say to someone who's interested in living this lifestyle? And
Ooh.
ideally, this is like the person that's thought about it,
Yeah.
keeps giving themselves excuses as
Yeah.
to why they can't take the leap.
Right. So my advice to anyone that's trying to get into this lifestyle is don't take it too seriously. You don't need to watch every YouTube video and have every perfect piece of gear. You don't need to have the perfect wiring set up. It's super easy to get overloaded with the wealth of information that's on the internet and just become stressed out. Literally just go out in your Prius, put a little sleeping bag in the back of your SUV and camp for a couple nights. See how that feels. If you don't like that, maybe the life's not for you. If you like that and you need a little bit more space, do what it takes to get more space, you know? Maybe put a trailer on the back of your SUV. You don't have to go super expensive, just something that you can throw a bed in. And then you can upgrade your system from where you go. I know a million people that have started this life that just started in the back of an SUV. You don't need to have the perfect setup right off the bat. You don't need to invest 300 grand in a Sprinter van if you don't think the life's for you yet. If you do and you're convinced, like, go for it. I got some buddies that build them out. Trevor Jones in Georgia, look him up. He does the best ones out there. Livermore camper vans. But if you just want to start off super simple, that's all you need to do. It's a very low barrier to entry because all you need to do is get in your car and drive. It's easier than that. So I got this camper a year ago. As I mentioned before, gentleman that built it, you can see him on Instagram and YouTube, Endgame Campers. This is the sixth one that he's built. He put about 500 hours in this build, as you can confirm in the videos. I don't know what the material cost was, but I paid 15 grand for it. For a frame of reference, if you wanted a in-bed truck camper from an official builder or some corporate company, they cost 35 to 45 grand new, and they're also super generic. I mean, you get in there, there's nothing special about them. It's just a bunch of white walls and some crappy storage that falls apart as soon as you get on the road. So when I saw this for sale in a Facebook Marketplace ad, I was 5 hours from Vegas. I was like, I'll be there tomorrow, dude. Like, I'm getting a loan today. I'm gonna pull the money out, save it for me. I'm on the way there. So I mean, you could build this yourself. I've seen some truck camper setups that they're home built. It's kind of a small community. There's not too many of us. So everyone's like, oh, do you know this guy? I was like, yeah, I actually do. So, I mean, you can build one for $1,500. You know, it's not going to look like this. It's probably going to look like a square matchbox. But if you wanted to build it yourself, definitely encourage you doing that. I know he's working on another build right now, though. So follow him on Endgame Campers and put an offer in. Maybe you'll get a pre-build price on it.
It's perfect. And do you want to talk about your current source of income?
Oh yeah. So I was working in tech for the last 3 years for a finance automation company, and I recently left, or you could say I got escorted out of the fintech world. I'm just kidding. No, I left because food is honestly my passion, and I ran clubs, like I said, ran restaurants all over the country for the last 7 years. Even when I was working in fintech, I was still consulting for restaurants on the side. Everything was completely word of mouth. All my friends from the years have just kept recommending me to small business owners, and it's something I love doing. You know, the last place I was working for was this mom and pop restaurant that had been in Phoenix for the last 50 years. So to make a small company like that succeed and like the family be able to actually keep making the food they've been providing to the community for years is very rewarding for me personally. And finally, I had some investors reach out from Atlanta, some of my very close friends, like, dude, we've seen what you're doing. Like, you got to do this for yourself now. It's that time. So I'm opening up a restaurant in Atlanta, or well, technically it's in Duluth this spring. So come see me in Duluth. It's going to be Knox House. It's right on the county green or on the square. We're going to have giant sandwiches, gelato, espresso, growlers, to-go cups, and it's all right in front of this big green concert venue. 5,000 square foot porch. Come hang out, bring your friends, family. Say that you saw it on here. I'll give you a free drink or something. So dating on the road's difficult. It honestly reminds me a lot of when I was stationed in Germany with long distance relationships. You just have to be comfortable with the partner that you're doing it with. I haven't had a serious or long-term relationship on the road yet. But one thing that I would recommend to everyone from my years deployed is have a plan to get back at some point in the future. Don't just have this indefinite time frame of, oh, you're going to school and I'm going to work a job on the other side of the country and then you want to work over here. That's not going to work out. But if you say, hey, 6 months from now, we're going to do this, we're going to meet up every month, as long as you have some structure, a plan to the relationship, then I think it could work out. And as always, communication's key. So many different ways of doing it now. You can FaceTime them, phone them, comment, like all their Instagram post, whatever it might be, but communication and have a plan.
Now's your chance if you want to throw anything else in there about hobbies, things you like to do.
Yeah.
Messages to the viewers.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
So for me personally, I have two major hobbies. Obviously, motorcycling is one of them. There's a lot of veterans that I know that we have the exact same hobbies because honestly, they're free and they great for your mental health, and that's working out and motorcycles. There's honestly nothing better for me. I first thing in the morning every day. Wake up, read the Bible first thing in the morning. If you want to take care of your mental health, I promise you. You don't have to believe me, just try it out. I promise it's good for your mental health. After that, get the heart rate going, yoga, weights. I've been on the road for a year now. The last 3 months, I haven't even set foot in the gym. I have a yoga mat where I do all my push ups and groundwork. I've got this cheap little set of pull up bars that I'll throw up on a tree somewhere near me and do pull ups on. And I've got one kettlebell. That's honestly all you need. And if you're watching this from home, that's all you need to. You don't need to go out to the gym. So take care of your mental and physical health physically. And then if you can get a motorcycle, highly recommend it. Get on Facebook Marketplace. You're going to find a bunch of COVID motorcycles, $1,000 never used. Hop on that. I promise you, there's nothing better than wind in your hair and a smile on your face. And all you got to pay is $5 for gas. So that's my recommendation. All right, so you can keep up with me and my adventures and Coda's adventures on Instagram at LivinLavillaLoca, like outside, inside, out, LivinLavillaLoca. Now you're not going to forget it. Or Digital Bromad if you want to see a bunch of shorts of me and Coda riding the motorcycle. And we're also going to need a lot of advice. So if you see me trying to pop wheelies, please let me know what I'm doing wrong. Feel free to leave all your advice. It's been a pleasure having you on this tour with me, and I look forward to seeing you on the road one day.